administration is set to double the bounty now for Osama bin Laden's head to $50 million. But is the money factor pointless? My next guest says it is. Joining me now, Robert Young Pelton. Robert is contributing editor for National Geographic Adventure magazine. He's been to this region and says that this sort of thing is a waste of time. Why do you say that, Robert?
Well, the area among the tribal areas between Pakistan and Afghanistan are sort of controlled more by a code of honor as opposed to a financial urgency. They could have given up bin Laden years and years ago, but they haven't. And even $25 million is an extraordinary amount of money for that region. All
right, but still, it was very vital in getting Uday and Qusay, right, Saddam's sons. The $25 million was sort of like manna from heaven, huh?
Big difference, though. Uday and Qusay were hated by most Iraqis, and most people were happy to see him go, whereas bin Laden is, I won't say worshipped, but he's revered by most people there.
So what is the trick to getting him, if not money?
Well, I think we have to recast what bin Laden's role is. First of all, this is ridiculous, just doubling and increasing the bounty, because it makes it seem like he's the guy we need to get rid of and everything will be okay. That's wrong. Secondly, we need to present who bin Laden is to these people. We never see pictures of him in Western dress in Europe. We never understand his background. We sort of continue that myth that he's sort of some sheikh, some holy person wandering, living in a cave, which is incorrect.
But in a way, that builds him up in some mythic proportions, does it not?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't understand why the U.S. government continues that myth about him hiding in a cave and being some great historic figure. He's a businessman. He's a rich kid. He's basically a criminal on the run. And the more we focus on that, the better off we'll be.
Robert, do you think the key is to tie him in, and this would go to al-Zakari as well, with the killings of Iraqis themselves, either those who were instrumental in trying to start the new government or those who were just innocent bystanders, and link him or either of these guys to those elements?
Right. You have to understand, bin Laden is one of hundreds of people on the run from their home countries, whether it's Algeria, Egypt, or even Palestine. They are hiding out, and they're developing this myth around them. You're absolutely right. We need to focus on the fact that they're murderers. They've engaged in murders of multiple innocent victims all around the world, and any decent Muslim would not want to perpetuate that type of person. But we seem to make him public enemy number one, and in a strange way, he stands as the great Laden, if you know your history, someone coming to save the Muslims from the Crusaders.
But there's always some guy in the bunch who does understand a little bit about the value of money or selfishness or greed, who would be enthralled, would he not, by money, just plain money?
Well, in my experience, and I've been with many jihadis in many wars, you don't do this thing for money. You do it for a purpose. And the people that bin Laden has around him are people who believe very strongly in the ideology that bin Laden is selling, which is sort of a Wahhabist or Salafist type of approach to the basics of Islam.
And they would die for the cause gladly, right?
Absolutely, and that's what you're looking at. You're looking at an ideological group of people, not a group of people who look at their salary check every month.
All right, and guys who would not be impressed by dollars no matter how many.
Correct, and also that area has some very strong tribal links. If you were to turn in bin Laden, your entire family and perhaps your entire tribe would come under some severe penalties by the other people around him. So
unless you hid the fact that you were the one who turned him in.
Well, that option is always open. I mean, when I traveled around the tribal areas, people would defend me with their lives, even though I was a complete stranger. It's almost biblical in terms of how old and how long-standing these traditions go back. But Zawahiri was there when I was there, and nobody was turning him in. There are hundreds of Uzbeks and other fighters who have taken up wives and live in that area who have never been turned in. So I don't see someone turning in bin Laden because the culture and the sense of honor are so strong there.
All right, that's interesting perspective. Robert Young Pelton, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
In San Diego.